The remaining members of an Ohio-based missionary group held hostage in Haiti have been released. 16 Americans and 1 Canadian were kidnapped at gunpoint 2 months ago by the 400 Mawozo gang. 5 hostages had been previously released. The kidnapping came as Haiti navigates political and economic crises fueled by natural disasters and a presidential assassination. Manuel Bojorquez is with me now from Miami with more details on this release. Well, this is, of course, really good news that we heard yesterday, Manuel, especially with the holidays right around the corner. Do we know how the group is doing now and where they are headed?
Well, we do know that reportedly they were flown here to Florida, which would be probably the closest location where you can safely get them to where FBI negotiators can try to debrief with them. We spoke with a former FBI negotiator who told us that once they are safe, that those freed hostages will undergo a medical screening, also psychological evaluation. We don't really know what they've gone through in the last 2 months, but also they will be debriefed. Any information that they can give the FBI about the gang that would help those authorities in Haiti try to fight the gang and try to prevent something like this from happening again. Of course, you'd imagine their first priority is to try to get home. We're still waiting to find out exactly when that will happen. Christian Aid Ministries, the Ohio-based group that organized that trip, had a very short news conference via Zoom yesterday where they did not provide many details other than to say that they cannot wait for them to get home. Many of these missionaries were from Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania, so their stop in Florida likely will be a brief one.
Well, then I guess we don't know much about whether or not the ransom was paid. The gang was initially asking for $1 million per hostage.
That's right, a ransom demand of $17 million initially, and that was largely viewed as the beginning of the negotiation. I don't think anyone looking at this case believed that that amount of money would be transferred to the gangs. And of course, there is a fear that if you pay for the release of hostages, that incentivizes these gangs to keep doing what they're doing. But at this point, there is no official word on whether any ransom was paid for the release of these hostages or exactly how the release was secured. We're waiting to hear more details, but some experts say we may never know because they may not want to discuss what happened exactly to try to secure this release.
So this was a very high-profile kidnapping. There were a number of Americans and a number of people, 17. It's a large number, but kidnappings, it's an issue in Haiti. This is not sort of a one-off situation. What action is the Haitian government doing to try and prevent something like this from happening again?
That's right. This was definitely a notable case, the most brazen attempt by any of these gangs to kidnap that many people from other countries, from the United States and one person from Canada, but it's definitely not unheard of in Haiti. These types of kidnappings happen to people who live in Haiti all the time, and even women and children abducted in large groups for ransom. So that is something that this country has been dealing with for quite some time. This just became the most notable case, and even the missionaries have said that they want this to shed a light on the turmoil and the difficulties that the people of Haiti are living through right now. You asked what the government of Haiti can do or will do to try to prevent this. Well, that's the other part of the problem. The government is very weak right now and destabilized after the assassination of the president this summer. So it's difficult to say what, if anything, they can do right now to prevent these problems from happening. The voids that are left by the government right now, including problems with corruption, well, the gangs quickly fill them in. And just this week, you had a situation where gangs that control the fuel trucks that go in and around the country, well, they were holding those hostage as well. And you had a situation where a fuel truck rolled over in a neighborhood and people rushed to try to get that fuel because there's a shortage right now, and it exploded, killing more than 70 people. So all of these problems are interconnected. These missionaries, I'm sure, are very happy to be home, but also will want to shed light on the problems that people in Haiti are dealing with now that they have left.
Yeah, it's all really great points. Manny, thank you very much.